Jokic says he wants to be a Nugget for life, but Denver's basically begging him to leave. They're like, we don't want you, go somewhere else. Because to lose your best player, this is basically the playbook. Step 1 this summer, take a huge step back, losing in the first round. Step 2, make 0 improvements. Step 3, trade your best young player for a draft pick. And step 4, pivot from a 24-year-old Peyton Watson to a 37-year-old DeMar DeRozan. It's like they're fumbling Joker's prime. On purpose. But is he gonna leave? We don't know for sure, but everyone's talking Warriors if Joker changes teams. Actually, there's a different team that should feel very good about their chances. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Nuggets sent away Peyton Watson, and the trade was Cavs get Watson, Cam Whitmore, who they waived. That's a whole nother thing. Sad story for his career. Clippers get Max Strus. Nuggets get 1 first and a second. The Wizards get Trey Mann and a second. This is actually part of a 5-team trade that involves Dennis Schroeder, blah, blah, blah. The important part is Watson signs a 4-year, $88 million deal in Cleveland. And good for them. Got embarrassed in the playoffs last year by New York. Go out and get better. And yes, losing Max Strus sucks because he's a good shooter. Charles Barkley's obsessed with him.
I'm thinking what everybody's thinking. That's a pretty man.
I don't think everybody's thinking that.
But the Nuggets got worse on purpose, so their rich owner doesn't have to pay a big tax bill. Why do you even own an NBA team? When you've got the best or second best player in the world, that's when you go for it. And let's be clear, the Nuggets will never have another Nikola Jokic again. This is it. Maybe not for like 50 to 100 years. You think I'm exaggerating? Joker's been the best player alive for what, 5-6 years now, right? From 2021 when he won his first MVP until last year when Victor Wembanyama took over. And I'm being generous there. Do you know how many players have been the best guy alive for that long a stretch? The list is Bill Russell, MJ, LeBron, Kareem, George Mikan, and Jokic. That's it. And I know you want to count Magic burden there, but they were not the best guy for that long. Point is, that's the list. You've got one of those guys. You have to be lucky enough to actually draft that guy when he enters the league, right? So maybe another Jokic in like 200 years is realistic. I'm not kidding. So what are they doing? Well, let's be clear. Peyton Watson was not going to win them a championship. This happened long before Peyton Watson. And in some ways, I get where the owner's coming from, right? Like at 4 years, $88 million. Watson would have cost them $22 million for the season, plus a tax bill just this year on top of that of $157 million for the second apron repeater tax. So the total is $177 million bucks for 1 year of Peyton Watson. The owner was like, no, I know I'm gonna get slammed for this, but we're not gonna win a championship anyway with this guy. I don't think I'm gonna pay $177 million. The actual problem happened years ago. Mistake number one was paying injury-riddled Jamal Murray a max extension when he's only made one All-NBA team and he was coming off a terrible Olympics for Team Canada. It was the perfect time to play hardball with him. But they didn't, and nobody was even bidding against them. So they paid Jamal Murray just to make him happy. Then they paid Zeke Naji over $7 million a year right before we learned he's not actually an NBA player. Then, of course, the Christian Braun 5-year, $125 million extension. This was bad because of how he regressed offensively, turning into a borderline one-way player for them, a huge overpay. So that is 3 big mistakes, plus the fact that Aaron Gordon suddenly can't stay healthy for very long. And the Nuggets are an overrated, overpaid, bloated mess. Just a terrible job by the front office, and all done after they got cheap and let go of Tim Connolly. Tim Connolly was the original front office guy who built the 2023 champion around Jokic. Then he gets poached to Minnesota, and a guy named Calvin Booth takes over. Immediately does the Jamal Murray extension, the Zeke Naji thing, and then the new front office did the Christian Braun contract. Meanwhile, Connolly keeps kicking butt by building the Wolves team designed to take down Denver. In fact, since winning the Zeke Naji thing around Jokic, then he gets got cheap and let go of Tim rated, overpaid, bloated mess. Just a terrible job by the front office, and all done after they got cheap and let go of Tim Connolly. Tim Connolly was the original front office guy who built the 2023 champion around Jokic. Then he gets poached to Minnesota, and a guy named Calvin Booth takes over. Immediately does the Jamal Murray extension, the Zeke Naji thing, and then the new front office did the Christian Braun contract. Meanwhile, Connolly keeps kicking butt by building the Wolves team designed to take down Denver. In fact, since winning their title in 2023, the Wolves have beat the Nuggets 2 out of 3 times in the playoffs. So this looks terrible. But is Joker actually going to leave in free agency? Well, people freaked out because he didn't sign his extension this summer when he could have. But it turns out he can make a lot more money by signing next offseason. $77 million more. In fact, he was asked, and Joker said, yes, this is just financial. And headlines were like, case closed, Nugget for life. But if you look at the actual quote, he says it like right after a game, all sweaty. He's not gonna make some huge news randomly in like some hallway in Europe. So who knows? This all comes down to whether he wants to win that bad. And a lot of people say he doesn't. He's not built like a Kobe Bryant. And it makes sense. Like, do you remember his biggest reaction after winning the title in 2023? He asked the PR guy when the parade was. And when he told him, Joker was like, I just want to go home to my horses. But at the same time, he's not that laid back when it comes to basketball. Like, I can think of 5 gigantic fights that he's been in over the years. And if he doesn't care, why does man get so heated at times with his teammates during really big games? It looks like he cares. The only thing that he hasn't done is hint at leaving, like Giannis did over the years constantly, right? Like, Giannis always made it clear, I'm loyal, but I value winning over loyalty, and he eventually left. Yo, if Giannis was on the Nuggets, he'd have been gone, because the Nuggets are turning into the Bucks before our eyes. Getting worse in the playoffs every year, check. Stupid expensive, but not that talented, check. Traded every pick you have. The Bucks did it, and the Nuggets just got back a pick in this Peyton Watson trade. Great. And desperate trades. For Milwaukee, it was like, you know, Damian Lillard, Miles Turner. For the Joker, it's gonna be DeMar DeRozan. Congrats. So we don't know if he's going to leave, but nobody would blame him. So where could he go? Well, first off, Joker could sign and trade to basically any team technically next offseason, or he could go somewhere with cap space, and the obvious choice is the Golden State Warriors. They would have enough to pay him the max, but is that really his best chance to win? I mean, the Warriors have Steph, it would be fun, but this feels like LeBron going there, right? His best chance is on another team, not on some 10 seed in the West. How is that a huge upgrade over the Nuggets roster? No, I think the Lakers actually have a much better edge here, because if there's one star in the NBA Joker feels a real connection with, it's Luka Doncic. They're both from the Balkans in Europe, which is the former Yugoslavia, and they have a shared history together. Luka and Jokic just look like long-lost brothers when you see them together on the court. And they'd be a great fit from a basketball standpoint, but there's a catch. LA had enough money to perfectly slide Joker into their books, just like the Warriors, but then they ruined it with all their moves this summer. The Austin Reeves extension, the Walker Kessler contract, and all the smaller moves like Quentin Grimes. So now that means getting Joker starts with moving either Reeves or Walker Kessler. One of them would have to go. And right now, before the season, before we see how it all plays out, I would say Reeves, because Lakers would need all the defense that they can get. And people might say, oh, Nuggets don't want overpaid Reeves. That's fine, but then they risk losing Joker for nothing when he goes to Golden State. Now, obviously, that's way in the future, and we don't know, but I can't wait to at least hear from Jokic after this Peyton Watson move. Where is his mindset at? Because this summer has been awful if he wants to compete. But speaking of a crazy summer, obviously the Lakers sale has been crazy. And look, this is, I will admit, the third video that I have done about this that I'm teasing here, but I think it's the best one because I fully break down everything that went wrong, all of the crimes that the old owner is being accused of, what could happen to him, and